Hello everyone, this is Logan589XP here for the grand return of the Nin-Cast, the series where I sit here and talk about things for like an hour. Okay, but in all seriousness here, yes, I am bringing this series back from the dead. My last Nin-Cast was, I believe, in 2018. I think it was the Nintendo Direct, like the September one that got delayed because of the earthquake, if you guys remember that. I think that was the last Nin-Cast I ever did. So yeah, it's been, like a year and a half since I did the last one. So yeah, it's been a long time. So yeah, but recently I've been wanting to kind of bring it back because I've done discussion videos since the Nin-Cast on this channel in particular. Like I did one about Alpha Dream when they got shut down. I did some Persona ones. Like I've done discussion videos, but they haven't been in the Nin-Cast format. They've been like 10-20 minute affairs with some gameplay thrown in the background. However, I'm not gonna make any promises because I am one of those people that loves to change things up like all the time. But the plan is the Nin-Cast for this season, which is going to be season 4. There's been 3 seasons of the Nin-Cast, by the way, in case any of you guys are new or whatever. Season 1 was in 2016. Season 2 was like the second half of 2016 to like the first half of 2017. And then season 3 was basically just 2018. And then I retired it in favor of just doing stuff on the secondary channel that's not in any particular format. But anyways. But the main format of the Nin-Cast is basically this is a podcast type thing. So there's not going to be anything on the screen aside from just the thumbnail or whatever. And this is designed so basically you don't have to look at the screen at all. You just have to have your phone sitting on the side while you're playing a game or something, or I don't know, maybe doing homework, I don't know. Whatever you may be doing at that particular moment in time. This is supposed to be an audio-only format, so there's not going to be anything on the screen, so all you gotta do is just kick back, relax, and enjoy for this particular format. So with that being said, yes, Nin-Cast is back, and this is, of course, the first episode of Season 4. And this is going to be a fairly eventful first episode for the return, because there has actually been a lot of stuff happening that I want to talk about. Not anything related to real life, that's not my territory, and let's be real here, I'm sure you guys have all seen everything going on right now. So we're not talking about that. I'm of course talking about video games, technology, that stuff. That's my wheelhouse, and that's what these videos are all about. They're about gaming and technology and stuff like that I'm interested in. But anyways, enough preamble, let's actually get this thing started. I'm not going to do any real particular format. I may put timestamps in the video, like, after this is all done and uploaded, so if you want to skip ahead to a particular topic, you can do that. I may do that. Do not quote me on that, though. If there is no timestamps, then my bad, but I'm going to try and do that. So, okay, let's get started. First things first, let's get this out of the way, because this is actually something that happened about a week ago, and I was actually considering making a video on it, but I kind of figured that there wasn't really enough for me to talk about that hasn't already been said. But I guess I'll go ahead and bring it up real quick. So last week, I believe it was last week, we got the Pokémon Presents presentation, which effectively was just a Pokémon Direct under a different title. Now, I was wondering why they decided to call it Pokémon Presents instead of just Pokémon Direct like it's always been. And I think I know the reason why. I think it's because either one, they want to be able to do them more frequently, which we will talk about that whole thing in a second. But basically, I think it's just because they want to have their own thing. Because here's the thing. Pokemon and the Pokemon Company, even though Pokemon is a Nintendo franchise and a Nintendo IP, and everyone treats it like it's a core Nintendo property anyways, the truth is, similar to Kirby and Fire Emblem, Pokemon is not first party. It's actually second party. It's still a Nintendo IP, and everyone treats it like any other Nintendo franchise, pretty much. But it's not core Nintendo, and unlike Kirby or Fire Emblem or any of their other franchises for that matter, Pokemon is unique. It's special in this regard because Pokemon is not owned just by Nintendo, because Pokemon is actually owned by 3 different companies. I believe all of them own about a third of the rights. So don't quote me on this, but from what I remember, here's how the rights work. 33% is Nintendo, 33% is Creatures Inc., formerly Ape Inc., which is the people behind the first 2 Earthbound games, believe it or not. But anyways, so yeah, Creatures Inc., 33%, and then last but not least, of course, the original creators, Game Freak, also owned 33%. And on top of that, the franchise is overseen by the Pokemon Company, which, despite what Wikipedia says, I believe on Wikipedia it says that it's a division of Nintendo, but I'm pretty sure it isn't. In fact, let's go ahead. You might hear some keyboard clacking here, but I'm pretty sure the Pokemon Company is not actually owned by Nintendo. It's just associated with them. Let's see the Pokemon Company. Okay, next, no. It lists, the 33% thing. That's what it says. It says owner Nintendo, 33%, and then it just says Game Freak and Creatures with an unknown percent. But point is, regardless of what the percent is, Nintendo, Game Freak, and Creatures all have their own stake in the franchise, and the franchise itself is overseen by the Pokemon Company, not Nintendo directly. As far as Pokemon goes, Nintendo's main role is basically just distribution. Basically, they're the ones that publish the games. That's about it, as far as I'm aware. Most of the development of Pokemon is from Game Freak, Creatures, and the Pokemon Company itself, not really Nintendo, which is one of the reasons why, for example, what was it? I believe there was like some Amiibo stuff a couple of years ago where Pokemon wasn't in it because of rights things. But yeah, so basically, yeah, if you've ever wondered why the Pokemon Company is like, yeah, so it's its own thing. Pokemon is kind of its own thing, and that is why I think they decided to do Pokemon Presents, because they want to be independent from a Direct, even though it's a Direct in all but name. Just like how the Sakurai presentations, and then we'll talk about the Smash stuff in a bit, just kind of like how the Sakurai presentations are not called Directs, but from any practical standpoint, they're basically Smash Directs. I don't consider them Smash Directs because they're not called them, but in practice, they're Directs, and most people just call them Directs anyway. So yeah, Mr. Sakurai Presents is for Smash, and then Pokemon Presents. Oh, I'm an idiot. maybe this is Nintendo related because they got Sakurai Presents and then they got Pokemon Presents. What's next? We're gonna get Zelda Presents for Breath of the Wild 2 info. Okay, but that's probably just a coincidence. But plus, even then, like the Sakurai presentation thing isn't super official. I mean, they're called like the official name is Mr. Sakurai Presents, but like, okay, anyway, I'm getting off track here. We haven't even talked about the presentation itself yet. So, anyways, point is, Pokemon wants to be their own thing. That's why they're doing Pokemon Presents instead of Nintendo Direct. Boom. Moving on. So, this presentation, I was not really sure what to expect out of it because, of course, it's too early for us to get the next mainline game already, especially when they're doing DLC. You know, Isle of Armor just came out recently. And the Crown Tundra is not coming out until later this year. So I thought, okay, maybe it'll be, like, mostly about the Crown Tundra, and, like, hey, oh yeah, because also this presentation was, like, the same day Isle of Armor came out, so I kind of expected a good amount of it to be Isle of Armor / Crown Tundra, like, basically the DLC. I expected the DLC to be most of the presentation. But in reality, it actually wasn't like that at all. The DLC was there, but the DLC was only there for, like, the last minute. Like, most of it was other stuff. And it started off pretty much the way most Pokemon Directs would. You know, you've got, what's his name? Ishihara? Yeah, I'm gonna butcher his first name, but Ishihara, you know, he's the Pokemon Company CEO. We're all familiar with him. He's probably the second most recognizable figure in Pokemon outside of Masuda. But, yeah, so of course we had him, and he's, you know, got all of his Pokemon plushies and all the boxes in the background and all that stuff. And, yeah, basically it started with, probably the weirdest thing I could have ever pictured them revealing. Because I wasn't really thinking about, oh, maybe they'll reveal mobile games, because we all know Pokemon loves their mobile games. But, the mobile game they chose to reveal, I could not have predicted in 1,000 years. If you told me, a couple of days prior or 5 years ago that the Pokemon Company was going to release a Pokemon brushing game, I would have been like, okay, they're not gonna do something like that. That sounds really stupid and really weird. But I guess the Pokemon Company was literally just like, hold my Pokeball. But yeah, so Pokemon Smile, the second that was revealed, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be memed like to death. Because it's just like, come on, Pokemon Smile. Oh man, I don't honestly have that much to say about it other than it's really weird, but I also don't really have a problem with it. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, this is weird. And like, I would not have revealed this in what's effectively a Pokemon Direct, but, you know, whatever. They gotta get their mobile games out of the way, so sure, whatever. This weird brushing game for kids, sure, whatever. And then the game after that was more like what I would have expected. It was like a Pokemon Cafe Mix. It's basically, like, when I first saw it, I was thinking, wait, is this the sequel to Shuffle? I actually played a lot of Shuffle back in the day. I believe it... Actually, Pokemon Shuffle, I think, is where, if you guys have ever heard the term free to start... That was a term that Iwata came up with to kind of describe what Nintendo was going to do with their like free to, because this was when Nintendo was like experimenting with free to play. Of course, you know, later on they would, you know, make bank on games like Fire Emblem Heroes and stuff like that. Although recently, I think like yesterday, they actually talked about how they're going to be backing away from mobile, which is very interesting. I may talk about that a bit later, but yeah, that's kind of interesting how they're like, oh, but we're going to back off from mobile. So it's like, I think most people kind of saw that as yay, but yeah, so that's kind of interesting. But anyway, so yeah, Pokemon Cafe Mix. There's also not really too much to say about it. I haven't played it yet, although I do have it downloaded on my Switch. But yeah, you know, it looks like, you know, kind of, you know, like it's a Pokemon puzzle game. It's got the Pokemon Shuffle / Troze / whatever I think there was one before that as well. You know, it's got those same like looking like characters and everything. Like, I'm sure it's a fine game, because I played a lot of Shuffle back on the 3DS, like in 2015 and 2016. So I'm sure it's a fine game. Like, it's not amazing, but I'm sure, because it's effectively a mobile game, even if it's on the Switch as well. But, you know, I'm sure it's a fine game. Nothing harmful, and more what I would have expected compared to Pokemon Smile. But then after this, we get the big drop. The number one easy, like, the big announcement. The first actual full console game. And I think we can all agree with this. It is about damn time. Now, for context, I've never played the original. Therefore, I never really had a strong desire for a sequel to exist. But I know that for like going back to the Wii U days, people were people were big on like, come on, Pokemon Snap 2, Pokemon Snap 2, Pokemon Snap 2. Look at the Wii U, it's got the gamepad you can use as a camera. This is perfect, and they never did it. But hey, even though, I mean, I think that the whole like this game is perfect for Switch thing is kind of overused. But like quite literally, like Pokemon Snap would have been perfect for the Wii U. It like quite literally would have. It was like built with it in mind practically. But it never happened. I'm sure half because they didn't really care at the time, and also half because, I mean, it was the Wii U. We didn't even get that many Pokemon games on, like, even like the Wii got like a pretty good amount of Pokemon spin-offs, but the Wii U got like 2. It got Pokemon Rumble U at like the beginning, like in 2013, which from what I heard is like the worst one in the series, so there's that. And then there's and then like basically when the Wii U was on death row, where like no one really was buying anything for it anymore because they were just waiting for the NX, or as of course it would be known as the Switch. Pokken, right? Pokken was teased a long time ago. I believe it was actually first teased in 2013 at like some Tokyo Game Show or something. Yeah, at the Tokyo Game Show or something like that. And then they were like dead quiet on it for like a year. And then I think in August 2014 they revealed it, and it's like, oh, it's called Pokken Fighters or whatever. And this is in Japan only at the time, right? It's for the arcades and everything. And people were like, yeah, Pokken, this looks awesome. When are we gonna get this in the West? And then they didn't announce it for the West until like basically when the Wii U was on its way to the end. Like, basically, by the time Pokken was announced for the West, the Wii U was already, like, on death row. Like, we already knew that the console did not have long. Like, even in, by the end of 2015, we all knew that the console was not going to be around for that much longer. I mean, Iwata, in one of his last... Actually, no, in what was his last big announcement, not counting the E3 stuff, just on his own, like, not as a part of, like, a direct or anything, was March 2015. That's when they announced that was when the big revelation of Nintendo's doing mobile games with DNA, and that hasn't really panned out. DNA, they worked on Miitomo. Hey, remember Miitomo? I remember Miitomo. I remember everyone used that for like a week. Like, everyone used it, and then it just kind of fell off. But it wasn't really a game, but I liked it. But yeah, so that DNA partnership didn't really pan out all that much in the end, because by the time you got to stuff like Fire Emblem and Animal Crossing, that stuff was, and then like Dragalia Lost, it's like DNA was not nearly as prevalent. But that's, again, something we can maybe talk about some other time. But so one of the last big announcements from Iwata before he passed was in March 2015. And it was two things. Well, mainly the mobile thing. Like, the whole, we're making mobile games, and we're going to partner with DNA, who's, like, big in mobile gaming and stuff. And then the other one that was still really big, but maybe not as big, even though, technically speaking, this should have been the bigger one, at least in terms of the traditional Nintendo audience, was, of course, the announcement of the Nintendo NX, which at the time, they claimed would be a sort of third pillar, or that would be alongside the Wii U and the 3DS, even though literally everyone knew that was a bunch of nonsense, because they said the exact same thing like 10 years or 15 years prior. I forget how long it was. Actually, no. Like 16 years. I forget how long it was. Like, I think the DS was... when did the DS come out? I think it was 2004, which might sound weird, because I always think of the DS as, like, the Wii era. I mean, the DS was primarily during the Wii era, but the DS came out 2 years before the Wii did. It came out in, November 21st, 2004. I believe it was announced at E3, right? E3 2004. E3 2004, fun fact, was Reggie's first ever appearance. Like, period, for Nintendo. And that's where we got the classic quote of, I forget exactly what he said, because I haven't seen the clip in a while, but that's where the whole, like, kicking ass and taking names thing, and we are making games, or something like that. Darn, I forget the whole thing. My fault, but the first classic line from Reggie as he walked his way onto the stage for the first time, that was like the line, and the rest is history. But I believe the DS was announced. Was it announced in 2004? Was it? No. It was announced. Okay, January 2004. Okay, whatever. I'm getting off track here. Point is, when they announced the DS at like E3 or whenever they announced it in 2004, they apparently talked about how the DS was going to be, again, like a third pillar to the GBA and the GameCube, even though it had a Game Boy slot on the the original DS as well as the DS Lite. They had the Game Boy port, had the GBA port. So it was obviously going to be the successor to the Game Boy Advance, but Nintendo said otherwise. Now, to their credit, they actually supported the Game Boy Advance for longer than you think they would have, because traditionally, Nintendo has abandoned their hardware the second the next generation launches, with the exception of maybe Pokemon. But this time, with the GBA, they actually were still releasing big games even into 2006. I believe 2006 was Mother 3, I think, was the last big, of course, Mother 3 never came out here, all that stuff. But yeah, also Pokemon Emerald came out in 2005 and stuff like that. And I think there was also some other smaller games as well in there, but anyways, again, I'm getting off track here. But then again, getting off track has always been a staple of the Nin-Cast. That's why these videos tend to be pretty long. So, yeah. But, point is, so basically, they said the same thing about the NX that they did about the DS. We all know what happened with the DS. The DS trounced the Game Boy Advance. It sold 154 million units, which to this day, if you want to count it, it's technically speaking Nintendo's best-selling console. Best-selling handheld at the very least. So, yeah, 154. Is that the most sold? The PS2 might have sold more, actually. Let's look really quickly here, actually. Did the PS2 sell more? I'm actually not sure. 155. Hold on, are they the same? Okay, the PS5... The PS5? Oh, man. The PS2 sold slightly more. Just ever so slightly. Like literally 1 million more. So, the DS was 154.02, according to Wikipedia at least, as of, like, whenever they last updated the numbers for it. As of June 30th, 2016... And the PS2, as of March 31st, 2012, 155. You get the point. The console, everyone had one. Literally everyone had a DS. Because I grew up during the Wii DS era. And everyone, and I mean everyone, had a DS. And everyone also had a Wii. Those two consoles were like the best-selling Nintendo platforms. Just like the timing, right? You had the Wii, which, you know, had the motion controls. It was very different. And it sold really, really well. It's their best-selling console to this day. And then right alongside the Wii, you got the DS, which was doing even better. It was doing even... Like, the Wii sold, like, what? 80 million, I think? I forget how much the Wii sold. No! The Wii actually crossed the 100 million mark. As of September 30th, 2019, 101.63 million. So you got... two 100 million plus consoles at the same time. No wonder Nintendo bombed with the Wii U. Because Nintendo fell into that classic trap that all the console makers fall into, where, hey, we did really well this generation. Maybe that means that we can now do anything and people will buy it no matter what. And, well, we saw this happen with Sony with the PS3, you know, the $5.99 US dollars. Alongside, you know, Ridge Racer and here's this giant enemy crab and all that stuff. But and then, you know, Microsoft with the Xbox One with the Don Matrick at the helm and the VCR original Xbox One. Well, that's not really the main problem. It was the Kinect and the always online DRM stuff, which... Yeah, and then Sony made that video. You know the video I'm talking about if you've seen it. It's the one where they're like, here's how you would show your games on PS4. And then it's like got this fancy animation with the music. It's like step 1. And then he hands it to the other guy and he's like, thanks. Oh my god, that video is so good. All of the comments to this day are basically all like, and that's how Sony won the generation before it even started. I do think Xbox gets way too much hate, though. Especially nowadays, under Phil Spencer and Game Pass and stuff like that, the Xbox platform has come a long, long, long way since the Don Matrick days of 2013. But, yeah, but I'm getting off topic here. This is supposed to be about Pokemon, darn it. And then we'll talk about Smash and stuff. And maybe I'll talk about the next-gen consoles, although I'll probably save that for its own video, because that's a big enough topic to warrant its own Nin-Cast. But anyways, I got long off track here. Where was I even going with this? Okay, I was talking about Pokemon. I was at the Pokemon presentation. Oh yeah, Pokemon Snap. I don't know. Yeah, then I talked about the Wii U, and I don't even know where I went from there. Okay, point is, Pokemon Snap 2 is finally coming. It's called New Pokemon Snap, which everyone does not like that they're calling it that. I don't know, because it's not a remake. It's a new game. Although I think, from what I've heard, because again, I've never played the original, but from what I heard, I think like one of the areas they showed was a remake of a level from the original, but everything else was new apparently. And the one thing everyone keeps talking about is the graphics. Okay, so let me talk about how I thought the trailer was going to unfold. So yeah, when the trailer first started and you see like the trees in the sky and there's a couple Pokemon with the grass and stuff, I was thinking to myself, wait a second, is this more Pokemon? Is this Pokemon DLC? But then they pan to like Pikachu or whatever, I forget, like, and then you see like, the camera thing, and it's like, oh, it's Snap, they're finally doing it. But yeah, why does the game? Oh yeah, the game's being made by Bandai Namco, by the way. So they're the same people that made Pokken, so that's also kind of something interesting to note. But yeah, why does the game seriously look that good? Pokemon Snap does not have any right to look as good as it does, but I'm not complaining. Pokemon Snap 2 visually looks really good, and here's the thing. I never really cared about the whole Sword and Shield graphics thing outside of the Ocarina of Time tree, outside of the Oot tree. I was pretty much like, yeah, the game looks fine. Like, obviously, it's like one of the worst looking first party games, but it looked fine. Like, I didn't really care. But then you see Snap 2 be made by Bandai Namco, and it looks 10 times better. Can we get Bandai Namco to make the next mainline game? Okay, but anyway, so yeah, Pokemon Snap 2. I don't have any attachment to the original, so therefore I probably won't be getting this new one. But for all the people that were asking for a new game for like 7+ years, you guys probably are over the moon right now, so I'm definitely happy for you guys. So yeah, new Pokemon Snap, aka Pokemon Snap 2. Why didn't you just call it that? Pokemon Company, but whatever. We don't have a release date, but I believe it is coming out this year. We'll have to see. I'll once again check, because I just have like Wikipedia open right here, so I might as well go ahead and take a look. New Pokemon Snap, TBA. So there's no release date for it. It's probably going to come out this year. Especially since there's not going to be a new mainline title because they're doing the DLC. This is probably like the Pokemon Company's quote-unquote big... Like, this is their 2020 game, is my guess. Like, this is basically the 2020 Pokemon game. It's Pokemon Snap, which, considering how much people wanted it, I'm sure it will do really well. So, yeah. Pokemon Snap, that's happening. That's pretty cool. Not personally super interested in it, but it's really cool that it is happening for those that waited forever to get one. And then I believe after that, they talked about some Pokemon Go stuff. Like, that's not super interesting. I mean, they announced Mega Evolution, which was that, and they had this cool CG trailer for it, which is really weird because like Pokemon loves their like cinematic ratio trailers that have like all the people from all the different countries, playing the games on the different systems. And that's cool. But like, why'd they make that 10-second animation just to reveal Mega Evolution? Like, it looked cool, but like, it's just weird. But it is cool because it means Mega Evolution isn't dead. So that's a neat thing, I guess. And then I think after that they just talked about like the wild tundra, the Isle of Armor is, the Isle of Armor, it's gonna be out, today or whatever. And then here's the big thing. And this was arguably bigger than the Pokemon Snap thing, depending on who you are. At the very end, Ishihara talked about how they have a big project in the works, and that they were going to save it for its own presentation. There's going to be another Pokemon Presents, literally probably by the time this video gets uploaded, because I'm recording this at, it's currently 11:20 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the day before the Pokemon Presents thing. So chances are this is going to be uploaded after the fact. I don't know. Maybe I'll upload it like at midnight or whatever and just say screw it, even though no one will probably watch it if I upload it in the at 1 a.m. or whatever. But point is, regardless of whether or not this video is up by the time the announcement actually is made, that's obviously incredibly interesting. And because, of course, again, there's not a mainline game this year, and they're not going to announce the next one already. But at the same time, what else could this big project be? Like, the fact that it's being saved for its own presentation. Okay, I'll tell you one thing right here. I have seen people out there say, this is just going to be like a mobile game. Now, I'm not going to lie. There's a part of me that fears that it may be one, and that's only because, I don't know, because the Pokemon Company treats their mobile games like they're on par with the console ones, so I could almost see them they have this super quote unquote ambitious mobile game they want to talk about. Because apparently they're doing because apparently at one point they announced they were going to be doing a Pokemon game with Tencent. I heard at least. I don't. Let's see. Pokemon Company and Tencent team up to make Pokemon games for China. Keyword China. China. They would not announce that in a rest of the world presentation. I don't think this is going to be the Tencent game. Unless it's a console game that's made by Tencent. That's a different story. If it's a console game and it just happens to be made by Tencent, that's different. But if it's just a mobile game or whatever, then like they're not going to show it here. I don't know if they said this was is this for mobile or is this two companies is an unannounced game. Okay, it doesn't say that it's mobile, but everyone's assuming it's mobile. So if it's a mobile game, I don't think they're going to show it. Even for Pokemon, I don't think they would show it in this here thing. They'll just announce it randomly on Twitter or something. But anyways, but yeah, so there's a big project that they want to save for their own thing. And yeah, so I mean, I think most people are assuming it's going to be the next mainline game, whether it's Gen 4 remakes or even Let's Go Johto. I'm surprised by how many people out there think it's going to be Let's Go Johto. Even like one of my friends thinks it might be Let's Go Johto and kind of wants it to be Let's Go Johto, which for coming from someone like him, I find that really, really interesting that he, of all people, would be up for a Let's Go Johto. But, you know, whatever, I guess. But regardless of whether or not it's Let's Go Johto or Gen 4 or some Pokemon MMO, pie in the sky, best game ever, like the game we've all been waiting for all we know, they'll announce that Monolith Soft is making a new game, and we'll all scream and cheer with glee, but whatever it makes, or you know what? Maybe it's Detective Pikachu. I don't think it'll be Detective Pikachu, because they already announced Detective Pikachu, even though they haven't said anything about it in like a year. So maybe this is Detective Pikachu, but I don't know. It's like, I feel like it's got to be something involving mainline, or at least like an MMO or something. I don't know. It's not going to be an MMO. Yeah, right. It's definitely not going to be made by Game Freak. That's for sure. They do not have the staff to do an MMO. Never mind everything else. But anyways, so yeah. New games being announced. Hopefully something mainline. We'll have to wait and see. So with that being said, that is the Pokemon presentation from last week. So overall, I was pretty happy with it. Like, I went into it basically not really expecting much, and we got Pokemon Snap. That was good enough for me. Like, okay, we got Pokemon Snap. Everything else is kind of like whatever. We got Pokemon Snap. That's what mattered, so that's cool. Anyways, moving on to the next point of discussion here. So yeah. Next, let's talk about what just happened earlier today. No, earlier yesterday. Again, at the time of me recording this is probably going to be uploaded on the 24th, so 2 days ago or whatever. Point is, the Min presentation. Smash. Let's talk about that. So, obviously, we have been in this big Smash drought, the longest we've had in a long time. The last update to the game was in January with the release of Byleth, and we have had nothing, not even a bug fix, like nothing. We've been on 7.0 since January, and it is now June. Like, we're nearing the end of June now. Nothing. And then finally, and of course, E3 was canceled and everything, so it was like, oh man, what are we gonna do here? Well, finally they announced a couple of days ago the ARMS character is gonna finally be revealed, and then of course it was like, okay, what's it gonna be? I made it in my Nintendo in 2020 video on the main channel. I said, oh, it's going to be Min or Twintail because they're the most popular, and it wouldn't be Springman because I don't think they would do Springman when he's an assist trophy. Which, yeah, I know people wanted it to be Springman so, they could break the assist trophy quote-unquote rule. It's one of the fan-made rules that doesn't really exist, but we all think it exists because it just feels like it exists. But, yeah, so long story short, after all that time, who was it? Well, I think I can safely say that for most people, they picked the right character. Personally, I probably wouldn't have minded if it was Springman, but the reason why I didn't think it would be Springman was because why would they make us wait 3 months just for it to be Springman? If it was Springman, they would have just told us it, like, in March when they revealed that there was going to be an ARMS character. So it was going to be, like, someone else, like Min or Twintail, or who knows, maybe even Helix or something. But in the end, we got what was pretty much is the fan favorite character for the most part. We got the ramen girl herself, Min. So most people are pretty happy with that, although I am pretty sad that Etika was not here to see it. But yeah, man, still miss you, Etika. We all do. Actually, a couple months ago, I actually bought a Joy-Con Boy shirt from I believe I don't remember if it's official. I think it was his official like Teesprings thing we could buy merch. It's still running, I believe. I'm pretty sure you can still buy shirts and stuff from that store. I thought it shut down, but I don't think it has. I'm pretty sure it's still there. Let's see. Etika World Network, Teespring. Yes, it's still here. Yeah, you can buy hoodies. You can buy iPhone cases. You can buy, of course, the shirts with the Joy-Con boys and like the different Joy-Con colors. You can even buy an eScorts sticker in like the style of like the MLG, like the old school MLG logo, but it says eScorts. Yeah, so but yeah, I actually did buy, I haven't actually really worn the Joy-Con Boys shirt that much yet because because most of the time I'm at home, especially right now with everything going on. But whenever like I go once Smash tournaments become a thing again, because me and my brother actually already have our I've already registered, well, not to compete, but like to as spectators, to go to Final Saga, 2GG Final Saga, but it was delayed. It was supposed to be at the end of March, but COVID happened, so it got delayed. We still don't know when it's happening, but we still have our tickets for that. And when it happens, I'm going to be bringing that Joy-Con Boys shirt. Every time we go to a Smash tournament, I'm bringing that shirt. I have to. It's just like, I gotta have it, So Etika's legacy can continue onwards. So, but anyways, let's move on to a less depressing topic. So yeah, back to Smash. So yeah, Min was the character, and I'm pretty happy with that. I didn't feel super strongly on anyone in particular, other than it not being Springman. Not because I had a problem with Springman, but just because again it would have been like we waited all this time just for it to be Springman. But we got Min. I'm pretty happy with Min. I'm pretty glad they picked Min because I think Min was the one that just made the most sense to do. Because again, she's the most popular. She's the most popular, and people just really liked Min. And of course, Min was also Etika's like character, so there's that too. But so yeah, we got Min. I'm not really gonna talk too much about the moveset because honestly, when Sakurai talks about the moveset, I don't pay attention to it that much because normally I just want to experience the character by playing the actual character myself. But obviously, Min's got all that range going on, so we'll see how that goes. Of course, there's already talks of this character's OP, man. But here's the thing: this happens literally every single time a character gets revealed that looks like they're really good. Like, the only time where it kind of amounted to something was Joker. I don't remember if people thought Joker was OP in the trailers. But, for like Terry, was it Terry? Nah, was it Terry? I forget. Maybe it was Terry. I don't know. But there was like, characters in the past. Oh, K. Rool. Oh my god, K. Rool. You guys remember the olden days where people were like, K. Rool is like top tier before the game came out? Yeah, we all know where that went. Still love K. Rool, but, he's not exactly a great character from that perspective. But yeah, so we saw the moveset and stuff, but I don't even really want to talk that much about Min because, hey, Min's in the game. That's pretty awesome. That's the ARMS character I would have wanted the most, all things considered anyway. So I'm pretty happy with Min. And also, the reveal trailer was really good. They started off with Captain Falcon and Kirby. Oh yeah, by the way, can we talk about how Kirby is like Kirby's a staple, right? Like, it's funny. How people talk about how Falcon is basically just a Smash character at this point. Well, I kind of feel like to a lesser extent that's also the same for Kirby. Even though obviously same goes for Meta Knight and DDD. Like, it feels like they're more Smash characters now than they are like from their own series, even though their series is still going on, because like when people talk about those characters, it's like, at least for like characters like Meta Knight in particular, it's like whenever people talk about Meta Knight, it's always in the context of Smash. Whenever people talk about DDD, it's like almost always in the context of Smash. Kirby mostly is in the context of Smash, not really from a gameplay standpoint, but just by the fact that he's kind of like the protagonist of Smash, because of course, Sakurai created Kirby, so he's like, I don't know if he's ever denied like favoritism towards Kirby, because people have accused him of that, like, oh, all the Kirby stages are from the games he directed and stuff, and they haven't put in any Kirby characters that, basically most of the Kirby stuff in Smash is stuff that he made. Like either characters he created or stages from games he directed. But yeah. But yeah, and of course, they had Kirby there because you gotta have Kirby. He's like, Sakurai has to have he's got to have his son in there, right? but yeah. So yeah, that was really cool. They started off with Captain Falcon. He's just like absorbing the noodles, and then you got the waitress in the background. Now, of course, if you didn't know anything about ARMS, you would just think, oh, haha, lol, Captain Falcon and Kirby eating ramen. But of course, if you know anything, if you follow ARMS even the slightest amount, you will be like, oh, that's the ramen shop where Min Min works. Therefore, Min Min. And then they go to, Springman and Bite and Bark, and it's like, okay, so here's the arena. And then, of course, they're all like, and they try to make it seem like it's going to be Springman, because they got Springman, they're all hyped up. He's like, yeah, I got the invitation. And then, then you get that awesome animation where he just gets destroyed by, Riven Girl. Then Ninjara comes in, and everyone's just like rushing for it. Like, basically, it's kind of like the Terry trailer where like they're all trying to get it, except instead of it being one at a time, it's like they're all going for it at once. And then, it cuts back to, and then the second they cut back to Captain Falcon, it's like, okay, it's Min Min. Because why would they cut back to the ramen shop? They wouldn't cut back to it. It would have just been a one-off gag, which would have been cool, because it's a funny gag. But like, it would have just been a one-off gag. But the fact that they cut back to the ramen shop, right there instantly, it's Min Min. And then of course they do the thing where it's like they show, because like in what I guess you would call waitress mode Min Min or whatever, where she's just sitting there watching him eat with that smile, and then it keeps cutting back and forth, and then the second you see that, like, the dramatic face, it's like, oh, there it is, and then she leaves, and then Captain Falcon and Kirby are like, wait, where'd she go? And then cuts back and everyone is just dead, like all the fighters are just dead on the ground, and then you got Twintel and who was the other one? I forgot who the other one was. That was also there. But, they had Twintel, and I forget who the other one was, so that's my fault. But, and then, Twintel, then, Min Min comes in, gets the invitation, then, it's like, oh, yeah, we got Min Min. And then, Min Min does her, like, little pose thing, and then, it's like, Min Min arms herself, I think is what the tagline was arms herself. Get it? Arms? Then, we see the gameplay, and we got the music going, and then the final smash, I love it when they do final smashes that are, like, basically all-out attacks. Like, I mean, of course, Joker has his straight-up all-out attack that's called all-out attack. In fact, I didn't even know this, but actually the previous Persona games also have all-out attacks as well. They're not as flashy or detailed or as iconic as the one in Persona 5, but there actually are all-out attacks in 4 and 3. I don't know if they're in 2 or 1, because I haven't... Okay, for the record here, I am one of those people that started with Persona 5 and has, as of right now, only played that game, but I'm going to be playing Golden, because of course it came out on Steam recently, so I'm going to be playing that once I'm finished with Royal, because I'm still not done with it yet. Then I'm going to play 3, and then, you know what, maybe even after that, I might even try out Nocturne or some of the other SMT games. Because honestly, I'd be totally up to try one of those. Like, if they release Nocturne on Steam, I'd totally play it. Or if Sony announces PS2 backwards compatibility for the PS5. But yeah, I'd be totally up to play some of the SMT games, because that's a complaint that, like, the SMT fans have, is like, oh, all these new Persona fans that came in through Smash that don't know anything except for Persona 5 and Joker, and that's like the only thing they know. They haven't even played 3 or 4. Never mind any of the other games in the Megami Tensei series, and it's like, I've seen a lot of complaints about that recently from, like, them from like the SMT guys. To be fair though, I can't really blame them, because even I'm kind of like, yeah, I think you guys need to chill out, because like I'm kind of on like the team that's like, yeah, Persona 5 Switch would be cool and all, but you think you guys need to chill it a little bit. Like I think people need to kind of chill with the whole Persona 5 Switch thing. Like I kind of like I feel like it has gone out of hand. But yeah, so I've only played P5, but I want to play 4 and 3, and I may even try some of the SMT games. But yeah, but anyways, yeah, all out attack though. So yeah, Min Min's got an all out attack, and it's got, all of the it's got all the, well, not all the fighters, but all the main ones. You got Springman, Twintel, Ribbon Girl. You even got Master Mummy in there. You got all those characters, and they're all there. And it's like, yeah, it's how they're, Mega Man has his, and then Joker has his, and even Hero also has his as well. Like I love the final smashes that are like all out attacks where they got all the different characters there. I love that. So yeah, Min Min looks pretty awesome. I'm glad they chose Min Min over the other characters. Nothing against those other characters, of course, but I think Min Min was just the one. And what's funny is that Sakurai literally said that the reason why Min Min was chosen was because Yabuki wanted Min Min. If you don't know who Yabuki is actually he's basically he's the creator of ARMS. He's the one that directed that game. He's the ARMS guy. He's the Sakurai of ARMS. Obviously, he's not nearly as well known as Sakurai or like Miyamoto or Aonuma and whatnot, or Masuda. But he's the ARMS guy basically. That's what his thing is. And he specifically requested Min Min. So that's the reason why they picked Min Min. But it also lined up because Min Min was the most popular character anyway. So it all worked out in the end, and most people were pretty happy. Even those that were like, I wanted Twintel, or I wanted this. They were pretty happy with Min Min, all things considered. Also, pretty much every track from the game is included. Like, all of the stage music from all the different stages, all that stuff is in the game. There's 18 tracks, which is interesting because it breaks this isn't a rule by any means, but like they break the kind of barrier that's been set in place where like, Joker, Hero, Banjo, they all had like 10-ish tracks. Then Terry comes in with 50, and then Byleth comes in and it's like another 10 tracks. In addition to all the other Fire Emblem tracks that are already in the game. And then here comes ARMS, and they have like 18, so that's kind of cool. And pretty much the entire soundtrack is there. If there is a track from ARMS you like, it's in the game. I'm pretty sure like at least all the core ones are. Like all the different stage music for all the different characters is there. There are 2 remixes. One, of course, is the main theme, and then also they remixed Min Min's stage. Even though Min Min's stage is not the stage that's going to be an Ultimate, they instead went with Spring Stadium, which, sure, like that's kind of like what I would have expected them to do anyway. Because that's like the main stage from ARMS. Like that's like the one that most people know about. That's just what it is, Plus they needed something that was like flat and fairly easy to convert into a stage anyway. But the stage looks really cool, and I like how they have the springs on the side and also near like the bottom of the blast zones. So that's cool as well. However, there's like a ceiling, or at least a pseudo ceiling, which I don't really have a problem with, but I'm sure competitive players are going to be all like, there's a ceiling, so we can't play this stage. But, whatever. Point is, Min Min, I'm pretty happy with that. Also, we got Mii costumes, of course. Callie and Maria, I was not expecting that, but okay, I guess. Then we also got, what was the other one? Oh yeah, we got Heihachi back from Smash Wii U, so that's cool. Although I'm kind of surprised they didn't just do that alongside Terry like they did for the other ones that were from the previous game. And then Vault Boy. I thought they were going to do the guy from Hollow Knight. I know he's not called Hollow Knight or the Knight or whatever. He has like a different name, I think. But the guy from Hollow Knight, that's like the next like big indie character people want. We got Sans, we got Cuphead. Next would have been the guy from Hollow Knight. Well, they didn't do that, at least this time. Maybe he's going to come down the pipeline, because we still got like plenty of updates coming in the future. We got at least 5 more major updates, which means, well, not counting this one with Min Min, like we still got 5 more in addition to this. So that means 5 more rounds of Mii costumes, which means 5 more rounds of us potentially getting that Hollow Knight character, among other people. And for the record, no, they are not going to make Steve a Mii fighter. They're not going to do that. Or a Mii swordsman, but you get the point. They're not going to do that because Steve is too big to just be a Mii costume. He's either going to be a full character with the stage and all that stuff, or he's not going to be in the game at all. So I'm just going to say that right here, right now. But, so yeah, Vault Boy. And also, this was a really weird thing that I don't understand why they keep doing this. But remember when they revealed the Assassin's Creed character? I think it was last time. Was it last time or was it during Terry? No, I think this was during I think this was during Byleth. This was with Byleth, I think. Yeah, when they had the Assassin's Creed character, who I believe is the one from the first game. I forget his name, so apologies there. Is it Ezio? Or was that the one from Assassin's Creed 2? I'm not an Assassin's Creed aficionado, so excuse me on that. But, you know, they added the Assassin's Creed one, and then in, like, only the US trailer, not in Europe, not in Japan, only on the US trailer, it's like, you know, Super Smash Bros. X Altair, for no reason, even though on all the other streams it does say Assassin's Creed like it should. They did the same thing this time. Instead of saying, you know, Smash Bros. Fallout, it said Smash Bros. X Vault Boy in, like, a regular-ish font or something. Even though, from what I've heard, I haven't seen it, but from what I've heard, and from what it says on the wiki, it does say Fallout for the other regions. So I don't understand. How come only in the US they're not allowed to, like, put the logo? I don't get it. It makes no sense. But, whatever. But yeah. Vault Boy's coming, so that's pretty random, but pretty nice. You know, it follows in line with Sans and Cuphead, where it's a Mii costume, but it's not really one. Like, you know, it doesn't look like a Mii costume. It's basically as if you were playing the character. There's no music with it, although Fallout doesn't really have that much music. Well, not any original music. Most of it's like radio and stuff, from what I've heard at least. So that's not really that big of a deal. But yeah, Vault Boy's coming. So Bethesda's in Smash? Todd Howard will get his grips on us no matter what. Skyrim. Actually, people were talking about putting something from Skyrim maybe like sometime in the future. Yeah, honestly, fine, whatever. It's like Skyrim in Smash. Todd Howard will get to us no matter what, even if it's within the confines of Smash. But yeah. Also, one last thing about the Smash presentation. The various different... Okay, so obviously this presentation, due to the outbreak and stuff, it doesn't take place at Nintendo or at Bandai Namco or at Sora Limited. It takes place at Sakurai's house, which I have actually seen before this, because there's an article from Source Gaming from 2016 that's called like Sakurai's Storage Solutions or something like that. You know, if you go searching for it, you might be able to find it. Or basically Sakurai just kind of shows his whole game collection. He's got like stacks of like the binders of discs for all the different consoles. He's got drawers full of cartridges and controllers and consoles, and he's got like literally every console known to man. And then he's got his TV with the setup, and this was back in 2016. I'll talk about the 2021 in a second, but in 2016, you know, he had his TV, and he had a PS3, a Wii U, he had a original Xbox One, he had a PS4 Pro, he had a PlayStation VR, like he had all that stuff. And now, obviously, we've seen his setup now in 2020, which we actually saw like the day or two before, because again, I think there was another Source Gaming article where like his thing was shown, and that's where the whole thing where he has two TVs, but and all that stuff. But the thing that's the most interesting is the fact that they showed that on stream. He's like, oh yeah, here's my setup, and you see his PS4 Pro, his Xbox One X. Sakurai is probably one of the 5 people in Japan that has an Xbox One X, but I appreciate that. And he's got, you know, all his retro consoles. He's even got like a PC Engine. He's got a Super Nintendo, his Super Famicom, his Famicom N64, I think, was even in there. But yeah, I remember PC Engine was in there. Then they got the PS4 Pro, the Switch, obviously, Xbox One X, which is incredibly interesting. Like, I was already surprised that he had a base Xbox One in 2016, but he went out of his way to get an Xbox One X. Like, he's literally probably one of the 5 people in Japan that has an Xbox One X. But that's really interesting. And they showed it on stream. They didn't even try to blur it out. They just showed it. Also, he had a base PS4 there. Oh yeah, and going back to that article I was talking about from Source Gaming, I forget if it's from Source Gaming, but Source Gaming is normally like the source for like Sakurai interviews and stuff like that. But I believe in that thing from a couple of days before the presentation happened, where they showed how he has 2 TVs right next to each other, it talked about how he has 3 PS3s and 6 PS4s, as well as 3 Switches in his house with multiple TVs. So those 2 TVs, that's not all of them. He has more. He has like some kind of LAN setup or something, apparently. So it's like, what? 6 PS4. I mean, I don't know if they're PS4 Pros or not, but he at least has 6 base PS4s, but who cares if they're base PS4s? He has 6 PS4s. I don't know if that includes because he has the PS4 Pro and then the base PS4 in like that setup that you saw in the video, which I assume is, PS4 Pro for the left screen, which I assume is Sakurai's main screen, and then you got the one on the other side, which is probably the guest screen when he's playing with other people when they come over or whatever, or also for when he's watching TV. I think he also said, not in the video, but I think in the Source Gaming article, he talked about how sometimes he'll have like the second TV going with actual TV, and then I'll be playing a game on the main one or something. Multitasking for the win right there. But yeah, so I find that really interesting that he's got, hey, look at my setup. Yeah. There was one thing, however, that I do kind of wish that they had in the presentation. Because the way it was kind of talked about beforehand was like, oh, it's going to be more like a vlog. But in practice, it wasn't really like that. It was still pretty much the same as the previous Sakurai presentations, with the only difference being that he was sitting on his couch instead of sitting at his desk at work. Aside from that, it was basically the same. They even put like the poster of the character in the background like they've done in the past as well. I was kind of hoping that his cat would make an appearance. I'm going to butcher her name. I believe it's a her. Don't shoot me. I'm pretty sure it's a her. But Sakurai's cat, I forget her name, darn it. I'm going to butcher it if I try to remember it. But yeah, Sakurai, his cat is like legendary. I've known about her since like 2014 because he used to post pictures of her on like Twitter. He hasn't done it recently, ever since like Smash Mode started to become a thing again. It's been mostly like the pick of the day type things and whatnot. But yeah, he used to post like a lot of pictures of his cat. So I was hoping that we get to see his cat in the presentation. Unfortunately not, but oh well. And last but not least, something that it was very interesting was at the very end. At the very end, when they were like, oh, one last thing, even though this isn't really related to the game, we had Captain Falcon, the whole, we got Captain Falcon, and we got and we actually got, I'm gonna butcher his, I keep saying butcher, because I don't want to risk trying to butcher the names on this video. Ryo Hayabasa? That's not his name, is it? I'm an idiot. Hold on. To the internet. But, basically, the Japanese, well, not even Japanese, like, basically, the voice actor for Ryo Horikawa. I'm probably butchering that, but that's his name. Yeah, Ryo Horikawa. I don't know how you say that last name, but that's his name. He is the Japanese voice, or as far as at this point, the voice of Captain Falcon. He's been the voice of Captain Falcon. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if he was the voice in the actual F-Zero games, but he is for Smash at least. I think. Yes, he is the... Let me look, actually. Hold on, let me go a little deeper into this. No. F-Zero GP Legend. Oh, that's the anime. Oh, yeah, there was an F-Zero anime, by the way, in, like, 2003. Fun fact. Yeah, F-Zero GX, F-Zero GP Legend, English voice. Okay, so yeah, Ryo is the voice actor for Smash. And... by the way, Captain Falcon is one of those characters that doesn't have multiple versions. Like, he's like Pikachu or Mario, where it's the same voice everywhere. So, Captain Falcon in Japan is the same as it is in Russia, or Malaysia, or Spain, or Brazil. It's all the same. So that Falcon punch, like all that stuff, it's the same guy everywhere. And... the thing that's very interesting about this... oh, yeah, he's also been the voice since 64. So, yeah, the entirety of Smash, he's been the voice actor for Captain Falcon. But the most interesting part is, during the stream I did for it, I literally... the second he mentioned the voice actor, I literally said, fun fact, the voice actor for Captain Falcon is also... and then right as that... I don't know if that's exactly when it happened, but basically right as I am, like, about to to like say what I'll talk about in a second. Well, I'm like, oh yeah, fun fact. The voice actor is also the voice of, and right when I say that, on screen I see the subtitles that's like, fun fact, Ryo Horikawa is also the voice of Vegeta in Japan. It's like, okay. I did not expect Sakurai to bring that up at literally the exact same time I was going to. Oh man, that was so funny. He brought up Vegeta. I did not think he was gonna bring up that, but he did anyway. And you know, people had a field day with that. Oh my god, they did not announce. They talked about Dragon Ball. They mentioned it. In all seriousness, though, if we actually did get Goku in Smash, I'd be totally up for it. I'm not even joking. I'm not joking at all. I would actually be all up for that. But that's obviously not happening because Goku is one of the 3 characters that has been officially deconfirmed. The other 2 are SpongeBob and Iron Man. Those 3 characters are the only characters that Sakurai has straight up shot down. So yeah, that's not happening. But I thought that was really cool they mentioned that he's the voice actor for Vegeta. In Japan only, but still. That's really cool that they mentioned that. I did not expect Sakurai to bring that up, especially at the exact same time I was going to. He literally beat me to the punch by like a fraction of a second. It was so funny. But yeah, so I guess that about wraps up that. So yeah, I was pretty happy with the presentation. I'm glad we got Min Min, and we got some really interesting Sakurai moments. We got the thing with the spring. We got him talking. He's showing his setup. We got the Vegeta thing. And, you know, the trailer was also really cool. The animation was really cool on that trailer. I was honestly kind of hoping that they would do another CG trailer, because we haven't had a CG trailer since Banjo. And that was over a year ago at this point. Remember, it's past what would have been E3. So it's officially been longer than a year since we got Hero and Banjo announced. They were the last characters that had the traditional Smash Bros. CG trailer. Terry didn't have that. He just had, well, okay, originally he didn't even really have much of a trailer. Actually, no. Originally, because of course they like made 2 versions of the trailer, one in September and then like a more complete one after the fact. But yeah, of course Terry had the thing where they had the SNK graphics, the Neo Geo graphics, and that was really cool. And then Byleth had, you know, the Fire Emblem anime thing going on. So we haven't had a proper traditional CG trailer in like a year. So I was kind of hoping they would do that again. But I was pretty happy with what they did. They had that, you know, the comic booky looking style, and it looked really cool. And the animation where Springman got punched was amazing. Only problem was that the bit rate just kind of tanked in the stream when that happened. But yeah, that looked really cool. So yeah, that trailer art style looked really cool. So I get a feeling that that's going to be a kind of a thing. Like if the game, okay, obviously Joker also had like the Persona style as well. But you get the point where like basically if there is a unique style, they're going to use it for the trailer, which that's fine. But like obviously if we ever got like Master Chief or Sora, that would be CG. But they wouldn't do that for like, I don't know, what's another one that they wouldn't do that for? I can't think of one off the top of my head. But you know, if like the series has some kind of aesthetic that they've used in trailers and stuff, or in the game itself, then they'll probably use it. But yeah, I do hope so yeah, hopefully the next character has a CG trailer though. Because I do want to see those again, because those are classics. You know, the CG trailer for Smash, that's the classic, and we haven't had one in like a year, so it's kind of like, even though the ARMS trailer was really cool, I do kind of wish that it was still CG, but you know, it looked really cool regardless. So yeah, and yeah, I guess actually that might be it. It's almost midnight now. It's 11:55, so this video is probably already like 40 minutes long. So you know what? Let's call it for right now. So if you've made it this far, then thank you for watching, and let me know your thoughts about, you know, Min Min or the Pokemon presentation, what you're hoping to see in about 6 hours. You know, again, I don't know when this is going to be uploaded. You know, what you hope to see from that Pokemon presentation. And yeah, can't wait for Min Min to come out next week. Okay, actually, that's one thing I forgot to talk about, was the fact that we have to wait a week. I kind of expected, but I was also not quite, I don't know. I kind of expected Min Min to not come out the same day. I don't know. I just had this feeling that it wasn't, and not, but at least it's shorter than the amount we had for Byleth. Byleth was, I think, 2 weeks away, Whereas this time it's only a week, so, you know, it is what it is, I guess. But anyways, this is Logan589XP, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.